The perfect Pacers, 1-0 perfect Pacers, are back inside the USA Aiken Convocation Center tonight on this Saturday night. 1 week removed from a 91-69 win over St. Andrews University. The Pacers looking to remain perfect on the 2016-2017 season as they host the Lees-McRae Bobcats tonight. We are seconds away from the opening tip. Corey Hodges, Mark Johnson here with you tonight on Pacersports.com. Pacers win the opening tip. We're off and away on another Pacers expedition of fun. Pacers with the first possession. They'll work to the hoop, and that one is good by Christian Nobles. He was a senior spotlight this week. Had a little interview on Pacersports.com. We'll get more on Nobles and also that guy, Mark Matthews. Quite a few accolades coming this week for the Pacers as number 4 for Lees-McRae. Dante Falls knocks it down. We're all even 2 apiece, but a whole lot of accolades, Mark Johnson, when we look back at that 91-69 win. Seemingly every Pacer, someone was patting him on the back saying, good job, good opening win.
It's always nice when everybody contributes to a good team win like that. And that really is a good sign of things to come here for this Pacer team, who didn't have such a great year last year, but they look to be improving.
Well, they certainly do. A very good opening night win, home opener, season opener for head coach Mark Vanderslice in this program. Now the history for these two teams hasn't been quite a lot of it since 1997. In fact, the last time these two teams were squaring off was, and I have to do some quick math, 1997. You have to go way back. We're not talking 2006, not even 1996. It's been 19 years ago today as Christian Nobles knocks down a shot to put USC Aiken on top of Lees-McRae 4-2. But the last matchup between the Pacers and the Bobcats, November 19th, 1997. Now the Pacers are 2-0 in the all-time series, but again, it's been 19 years since these two teams have squared off, so a lot of catching up to do for the Cats and the Pacers. There's a good rebound pulled down from number 11, Jalen Barnes. Barnes getting the first look this season at Barnes. He's in the starting lineup tonight, kicks it out. Now back out top of the arc, now back to Barnes. Barnes trying to get a couple stutter moves there to work it inside, but they'll move it back out, will the Pacers, to Christian Nobles, and now to Faison brought back to Nobles, thought about a 3, good contest. Again, top of the arc, now the three-point shot up a little short, offensive rebound. 3 was missed from Bolton, but Kevin Chizu was there with the offensive rebound. Again, it's into the hands of Henry Bolton III. Will the shot count? We will wait and see. Looks like that's a foul called, of course. No bucket yet, so foul shots. Instead, they will take it out, no shots. Henry Bolton III, the inbounder. 17:44 to play in the opening half of action tonight. Shot a little short. Again, a rebound from Chizu. That's back-to-back offensive rebounds for Kevin Chizu, but he misses badly on the put-in attempt.
It looks like the men's team is following along with the women's team. Just a couple nights ago, the women were winning on the rebounds, and it looks like this men's team is also doing that. And if you saw anything of the women's team, they beat number 15 at the time, Benedict College, so we'll see if the Pacers can follow suit.
Yeah, those Lady Tigers, a very good program, not too far away from here in Columbia, South Carolina, at a HBCU, Benedict College, which always puts out a very good hoops team. And that football team, I have some hands-on, first-hand experience with that team. About a month and a half ago, was in Columbia working that football game and got a up-close and personal look at the Tigers football team. And yeah, that's a program on the rise on the hardwood and the gridiron. Bobcats with it. 4-2 lead. Here's the shot. That one a little too strong. Rebound. Bolton the third. 4-2. Pacers on top of the Bobcats. Got to watch the timeline. They do the Pacers. Under 17 to play in the first half, so we're just scratching the surface on this Saturday night. That one was knocked away from Christian Nobles, and so the Bobcats will get it back. Just a 2-point ball game. That one's out of bounds, but looks like it'll stay here with the Cats.
Yeah, low-scoring game so far, only 4-2. A lot of good defense I'm seeing on both sides of the ball.
That's a big change from last Saturday night, Mark, when, of course, as you know, everybody around here knows 91 points put up by the Pacers.
And 91 points in any game, even in the NBA, is quite an achievement for any team.
That's right. I know the Dallas Mavericks, they would have liked to have had 91 points last night. They only scored 65 in that loss when I was watching the highlights, or rather lowlights for the Mavs last night. Keith Hurd, the second, put the shot in a moment ago, so we're all square at 4 points apiece. 16:27 to play opening half. Swinging to the corner, shot up, took a look in, and then spun out for number 2, Faison Brock. Brock, the 6'6", 204-pound freshman from Raleigh, North Carolina, Millbrook High School. Foul will be called on this end against the Pacers, so that should put a Bobcat at the line for shots. It looked like that LaPrice Lynch was fouled, so Lynch will step to the stripe. Bobcats coming in tonight 0-3 on the season. In fact, this is a back-to-back game. They fell to Queens University last night up there in Charlotte, North Carolina. So about a 2-hour and change drive. I know all about that trip from Charlotte, North Carolina, but this Lees-McRae's team falling last night to the Royals. That's a team on the rise, had a stellar regular season in the Queen City in 2015, 2016. Here's one stolen by Lynch, and Lynch, the two-hand steal and stuff. Good defensive work for the Bobcats, but it's going to put Lees-McRae up 8-4, so that's 4 straight points for Lynch. What a sequence.
Yeah, Pacers just gave up a bad pass there. Not much you can do about that except hope to do better next time.
84-69 was the final last night in favor of the Royals over the Bobcats, and they're coming in most likely a little bit tired right now, but not showing it so far through the first 4 minutes of regulation play as they lead the Pacers 8-4, 16 minutes remaining here in the first half. Corey Hodges, Mark Johnson here with you tonight on PacersSports.com for the Pacers and the Lees-McRae Bobcats, but this is the third game in 4 nights for the Bobcats as they fell in Winston-Salem, at Winston-Salem on the 15th of November, 83-79. The aforementioned loss at Queens last night in the Queen City, 84-69. And now they're here in Aiken, South Carolina this evening. Now, as for the Pacers, they've only played 1 game so far this regular season. It was the 91-69 win over St. Andrews last Saturday night, but you do the math, Mark. It's pretty easy math. That's 1 week of rest between that game and this game, so you would figure that the Pacers would have the fresher legs, but they're already up against a little bit of a challenge with the Bobcats on top by 4.
Well, I mean, you can also look at it like this. If you have a week off, you may be fresher physically, but mentally you're not as in sync with everything. And these Bobcats are playing on a streak of games here. They're still in that game mode.
Right.
And the Pacers, not so much.
That's a good point. You know, you talk about that, whether it's a win or a loss, you're still out there playing. So one way or another, that gets you into a little bit of a better groove, and if nothing else, the Bobcats come in with momentum. It's not winning momentum, but it is some type of momentum. They were just out there on the hardwood 24 hours, a little bit less than 24 hours ago. So we're back after the first time out of the evening, 15:54 to play in the first half. It's an 8-4 Lees-McRae Bobcats lead over the USC Aiken Pacers. That one is rejected. Again, good defense out of the Cats. That's Dante Falls who rejected. Looks like that was Christian Nobles trying to get to the hoop.
These Bobcats are really playing tough defense, and Pacers only have 4 points to show. That just proves my point.
Mark Matthews with it. Matthews will kick it out. Christian Nobles too strong on the 3, but Matthews, there's a rebound. Get ready to see a lot of that. Mark Matthews, 22 points last Saturday and a career-high 23 rebounds. Now, those 23 boards mark the most in USC Aiken's Division II history. There's a trade, a 3-point shot up and in. Henry Bolton III.
That's going to put us at a 1-point game here. Pacers trying to find some momentum off that.
8-7, so the Pacers trim it to a 1-point deficit at the hands of Lees-McRae on the 3-point shot from Henry Bolton III. Shot up and in, good work there. Number 4, Dante Falls. So Falls continues to be a pretty big present. And the Bobcats trying to steal another a moment ago. Here's the pull-up. That one too strong, but getting his own rebound and fighting up for it and getting a little help off of the orange rim. Number 11, Jalen Barnes, 6'1", 180 senior from the capital city, Raleigh, North Carolina, formerly Sam Houston State. 10-9, Lees-McRae on top of USC Aiken. Shot falling down out of the corner, And missing on that one was number 35, Keith Hurd the second. Here's another miss on the other end for the Pacers, so the Bobcats up by 1, 10-9, 14-20 to play in the first half. We'll get it back. Good disruption defense there on number 4, Dante Falls. Now it's in the hands of Jonathan Henry, who will get it to Chad Hicks. Hicks is waiting for it. Hicks will roll around a screen set by number 4, Dante Falls. Now Falls is trying to battle inside. A foul will be called on the floor. That's Jalen Barnes picking up the foul. A couple of subs coming in for Bobcats. 11, 14, and 15, Jordan Turner, Tyreek Royal, and Rashad Felton. The 3 subs coming in for the Bobcats, who lead by 1, 10-9, 14:01 remaining first half. And now one more sub. That's number 21, Marcus Anderson, coming in. So a quartet of changes for head coach Steve Harden and the Bobcats. You
have to wonder if that might be the result of them playing multiple games in a row. Maybe try to keep their guys out there for a little less time than they normally would.
Yeah, certainly the fresher leg advantage goes to USC Aiken, and even though those legs are a little bit more tired for the Bobcats after playing last night and on the 15th, they're still looking pretty good, looking really good. That one inside to number 14, Tyreek Royal. 12-9, Bobcats on top of the Pacers. USC Aiken will have it back. Martin Matthews will work inside. Foul will be called. Talked about the 22 points, 23 rebounds 1 week ago tonight for Matthews, and that 91-69 win for USC Aiken over St. Andrews. Now, in addition to setting the USC Aiken Division II record, Martin Matthews and those 23 rebounds he gobbled up, that marked the 3rd most by a student athlete in the entire history of the Peach Belt Conference. So you name it, Mark, another Mark, did a lot of good things.
Yeah, it looks like Coach Vanderslice has been recruiting pretty smartly as of late. Like as I'd said earlier, the Pacers hadn't been too strong after going to the Elite Eight in back-to-back years only a few years ago. Right. But it looks like Coach Vanderslice wants to try to get us back to that level of competitive nature, I guess.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself. Competitive nature, that's what you want to get back to. You want to get back to getting in the playoffs and making deep runs. 12-9. Inside, this one is blocked. Good defense for USC Aiken. Trying to move it quickly now, taking it on his own, coast to coast. Raheem Freeman taking a walk on the beach, and now the steal. Nanad Milinkovic swipes it. Can the Pacers get 4 points, maybe 5 points in a matter of seconds? 3 ball, a little short. This place was ready to go bonkos for Martin Matthews, but he could not make the Bobcats pay for that one.
Yeah, Pacers trying to get a little excitement going, and they're using speed to their advantage. Talking to some folks earlier before the game, they said that the Pacers have been using a lot more speed than they have in past games.
It was on display a moment ago, all kinds of MPHs for the Pacers. Chad Hicks knocking down a 3 just a couple moments ago. That one rattles in, so coming right back is Raheem Freeman. That's 4 straight quick points for Freeman, 15-13. Bobcats on top of the Pacers with 12:22 remaining first half. This one's going to be lost out of bounds. Pacers will get it back. Flashing back again, not talking about Matthews this time, but rather Christian Nobles back to that season opener, home opening win. Managing to both score and pass very well did Matthews in that win over St. Andrews. Nobles pouring in 21 points, which was second best on the team, and also dishing out a game best 6 assists. Here's a shot from the corner that is short for Freeman. Freeman was trying to pick up possibly 7 straight points from his own person. Instead, the Bobcats will get it back.
Don't want to get too greedy if you're the Pacers. You know, go for the 3 if you got a good shot on it, but if you can at least get 2 points, that's always good. You're only down by 2. Now, scratch that. Down by a few more now, but still, it's a close enough game. Just sink the baskets that you can.
Chad Hicks puts in a 2-point shot, 18-13, 5-point edge for the Bobcats over the Pacers. And yeah, Mark, you talked about taking all those 3-point shots. All of them were flowing 1 week ago tonight against St. Andrews. Will we have a travel? The Bobcats won it. And yes, that's what we will have. Too many steps. And timeout on the floor with 11:19 to play in the first half. It's an 18-13 Lees-McRae Bobcats lead over the USC Aiken Pacers. We will take our first timeout of the night and come back. You're watching USC Aiken men's basketball on Pacersports.com. Happy to have you aboard on this Saturday evening. Pacersports.com. Happy to have everyone aboard. Streaming here on YouTube tonight as per the usual. Corey Hodges, Mark Johnson here with you on this Saturday evening inside the USC Aiken Convocation Center. Pacers and the Lees-McRae Bobcats. 11:09 to play in the first half. 18-13 is the lead for the Cats over the Pacers, but trying to do something about that. Foul will be called. It's a hard foul underneath on Faison Brock as Brock was trying to attack right out of the timeout.
You could hear the body hitting the floor all the way over here. He went down hard, but good to see he's all right, got right back up.
So Faison Brock will step to the line for shots. Brock coming in 2 of 2 on the season from the line. Now make it 2 of 3 as Brock misses the free throw, but only one game played so far for USC Aiken, so all the season stats account for just one game. It's a little bit different, however, for Lees-McRae as they play 3 games, actually 4, but the regular tally for games that count stands at 0-3, but some of these numbers a little bit more varied for Lees-McRae as, again, USC Aiken, they've only played once, and that was last Saturday night in the home opener against St. Andrews in the Knights. Bobcats have it back, 18-14. They lead it, a jumble at the top, and now they'll kick it out. Three-point shot is good by number 3, Marcus Casessa. 6'5", 190 freshman from Fort Lauderdale, Florida is Casessa, and he knocks down the tray. 21-14, and Milinkovic has it, a near steal. These Bobcats are going for the basketball at every opportunity. That one took a look for Rahad Freeman and scooped out, but the Pacers get it back. Kick to the corner, Milinkovic, boy was he hot last Saturday night from downtown. Milinkovic trying to get back to the corner. Pacers have it under the hoop, a little squirm for it for a moment, and now into the hands here of number 14, Paris Ballinger. Now back to Freeman. Freeman will work in. That one's out of bounds.
And from what I've been seeing here, this Bobcat team is playing a very physical game, and I don't know if the Pacers, trying to use their speed, are going to be up to the challenge. We'll have to see as the game progresses if they can start playing that kind of game.
So it was a shooting foul on Raheem Freeman, so Freeman will step up to the line, try to do a little bit better than he did the last time he was there, which was only a couple moments ago, but Freeman unfortunately misses on that one. 6'4", 185 junior out of Ocala, Florida, formerly USC Salkehatchie. Quartet coming in for the Pacers. Mark Matthews is back in. Also seeing number 42, Kevin Chizu, come in. Chizu has been active defensively so far. Raheem Freeman back at the line looking for a split. 21-14, it's a 7-point edge for the Bobcats, and Freeman is short on that one, so some struggles at the line here to start for Freeman as he shorts that one. 9:48 to play, but we've got a foul on Casessa. A couple more subs coming in before the Pacers will get back to it. And USC Aiken will take it out after that foul. So even though Freeman missed 2 at the line, the Pacers will get it back. Scoop to the corner, shot up, a little strong, and rolls off the rim. Moving quickly in transition are the Bobcats. Good defense over here in the corner. Ballinger was on number 35, Keith Hurd II. Now back to Hurd II. He'll work inside. Rather, that's number 25, LaPrice Lynch. So it was Lynch getting to the painted area, but rejected. Mark Matthews for 3. That one no good for Matthews, but a good rebound. Fought for and grabbed, and really being ganged up on underneath was number 42, Kevin Chizu. Finally, we hear the whistle.
And one of the things this Pacer team needs to work on, I think, is, well, 2 things actually, is working on getting those 3-pointers in if you're going to go for them at all, and also getting those free throws down. I can't tell you how many games I've seen where the score has come down to who made the free throws and who did not.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I know my dad has talked to me all the time from when he played high school basketball, and even though he says that may have been about 35, 40 years ago, Corey, but you know what? It still means a lot. Making your free throws, that does not change in the game of basketball. That shot is up and in LaPrice Lynch. So Lynch continues to do some great work out there for the Bobcats. The Cats lead at 23-14 with 8:46 to play first half. Underneath the hoop, foul will be called. It'll stay Pacers basketball, and that was number 11 for USC Aiken, Jalen Barnes, fighting hard in the painted area.
Yeah, Barnes making his USC Aiken debut tonight, and he's been met with a bit of a rough welcome here against this Lees-McRae Bobcats team.
Yeah, probably would have preferred it if he was here last Saturday against St. Andrews, as the Pacers not so much waltzed as they did walk away comfortably, as, again, it was a little testy in the second half. Here's one that is tossed all the way over to Barnes, and Barnes is met immediately by LaPrice Lynch, and they got tied up. Now the record for the Bobcats, who again come in following a loss last night up in Charlotte, North Carolina at Queens. But so far this season, they've technically played 4 games, but their record is 0-3, one of those, again, not being counted. So these Bobcats come in very seasoned so far in the season, as a foul will be called here, as getting to the rack was number 35, Keith Hurd II, and Hurd II drew the whistle, but it was an 84-69 win. That's 15 points last night at Queens. Before that, just a 4-point clipping at the hands of Winston-Salem on the 15th of November, but then getting blown out against Tuscaloosa College. That was number 2, Lincoln Memorial. It was played at Tuscaloosa College, but number 2, Lincoln Memorial, as Keith Hurd II knocks down a foul shot, but Lincoln Memorial took apart the Bobcats 94-66, and before that they were at Tuscaloosa in Greenville, Tennessee on the 11th of November, 85-81. So really, Mark, all but 2 games this season, the Bobcats have been in it, and you're seeing a little bit of that why tonight. They're a scrappy unit.
Yep, and it's definitely throwing the Pacers off their game here. Pacers, again, speedy team, not used to playing scrappy, and they're going to have to make some adjustments, if not right now, a little bit later on in this game before it gets out of hand.
24-14, it's a 10-point advantage for the Bobcats over the Pacers. Here's a kick out. Henry Bolton, the third for 3. He got it, all 3. 24-17, and Mark, we've been talking about the 3-point shot. That's the great equalizer in basketball. If you can hit the 3, well, I shouldn't say every lead is one that you can come back from, or every deficit, I should say, but it does help claw back in when you're down.
And they got to keep making those threes. If they're going to keep going for them, you got to keep making them. I know it sounds like an understatement, but it's the truth.
Yeah, and you speak the truth, Mark. 8 of 28 last Saturday night were the Pacers against the St. Andrews Knights. So they took 28 threes, but guess what? They made 8 of them. So like you said, if they're going to take a lot of threes, you would do very well to make as many as you can, at least 8, 9, maybe 10. Henry Bolton III has given the Pacers 2 trays tonight. They trail it 24-17. We'll step aside here on PacerSports.com. USC Aiken men's basketball on PacerSports.com returns in a moment after this pause. USC Aiken men's basketball on PacerSports.com is brought to you by Tyler's Tire and Auto Center, by Aiken Flooring. Aiken Flooring, you can stand on us. And by Denny Michaelis, your local State Farm agent right here in Aiken, South Carolina. And oh yeah, quality in and sweets. Welcome back here to PacerSports.com. Corey Hodges, Mark Johnson here with you tonight. We just came out of the timeout, and now we, of course, get another timeout. So right when we thought that we were getting set to see more action out there on the hardwood, we will get a chance to collect our thoughts for a moment. But since we have this pause here, Mark, I wanted to talk about, of course, that win last Saturday over St. Andrews University. That was a great way for this Pacers team to get started, and I wanted to clean up a couple more notes that were following in after that victory. Talked about Christian Nobles, all of his good work. Mark Matthews, he was also named the USC Aiken Student Athlete of the Week, and all of that great work has USC Aiken at the top of some statistical categories. The squad topping the league here in the Peach Belt Conference in shots per game at 6.0, defensive rebounds per game at 35, offensive rebounds per game at 19, and rebound margin at 19, as we are back after the timeout, and shot is good, 26-17, so it's a 9-point edge for the Bobcats over the Pacers, but they looked really good after the St. Andrews win. Nenad Milinkovic hits a three. Milinkovic did quite a bit of that against the Knights last Saturday, and they want to try to get back to that 1 week ago form.
Well, it's certainly looking like they can do it now. They've just sunk 2 3-pointers in a relatively short span of time, and they've narrowed the deficit down to 6.
26-20. Henry Bolton had a three. Milinkovic had one a moment ago. Milinkovic 4 of 7 from the promised land last Saturday night. Paris Ballinger has it. Now Milinkovic, he will step back for 3 and got another one. Nenad Milinkovic.
That was just beautiful, the way he just sidestepping like that. Not a big move, but an effective move.
Yeah, Milinkovic, you could see him almost look down like Steph Curry. Where am I? Am I on the line? I'm back on the line, and hits it. 26-23, it's just a 3-point game, almost a turnover. Who's got it? Matthews was ready to fight for it, but the Bobcats retain possession, but a big block from Chizu.
Yeah, I'm noticing the Pacers are starting to turn into a scrappier squad. They've made the adjustments they had to make, and it's paying off big time.
So Milinkovic hits a three, and then the Bobcats come back down the floor, and they're met from some stern defense courtesy of the 6'8", 240 Kevin Chizu from Cameroon, formerly Furman Paladin. 6:06 to play in the first half. Contested 3-point shot, lucky to graze iron. It did from LaPrice Lynch. Mark Matthews had to save it as Nenad Milinkovic went up next to the USC Aiken cheerleaders for that one. 3-point shot, grazes iron, but off for number 1, Chad Hicks. Here come the Pacers. 5:47 to play first half. That one short from number 23, Christian Noble, so the Bobcats will get it back. Into the hands here of Jonathan Henry, 6'1", 180 senior from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Neosho Community College. Here's Henry. Henry will kick it out, top of the arc. Lynch has it. Now Lynch will get it over to Hicks. This one's out of bounds into the Pacers bench, but it'll stay Bobcats ball.
Yeah, ball nearly took out David Belfield, the student assistant coach. He was a player last year. Now he's decided to put on the suit, tie, and jacket and help out the team in another way.
Yeah, it looks very nice in the suit jacket as well. Mark Vanderslice, the head coach for the Pacers. Jacob Gollin, Trevor Welcher, and the aforementioned David Belfield, the assistants. Number 4 for Lees-McRae, Dante Falls hitting it 28-23 as the Bobcats are able to get it back to a 5-point advantage with 5 minutes flat to play in the first half. Is that going to be a turnover for USC Aiken? Were they unable to get it past the timeline? Looks like a timeout was called right before Nenad Milinkovic got hit with standing too far behind the timeline and unable to advance it. You get 6 seconds. Last time I checked, or rather it's something around there. I think it's 11 seconds you get to bring it up, if my calculations are correct, to echo one Doc Brown from Back to the Future. But either way, Nenad Milinkovic was held up in a pretty big way. And as a result, we have a timeout. So 5 minutes flat to play, and we're going to stay here inside the USC Aiken Convocation Center. And Mark, this Pacers team falling into a little bit of a hole to start, but the three ball is helping him. And now, as you said, the defense is starting to get a little bit better too, and it all kind of starts with Kevin Chizu.
And they've made the adjustments they had to make. I was a little bit concerned, but they have narrowed the deficit down. They still face a bit of a deficit, but it's a bit more manageable now, and we're gonna hope to see that they can bring it all the way.
Mark Matthews will be the inbounder back here after the timeout. Clock is corrected to 5:03 to play first half. Harris Ballinger will get it, and now Ballinger is past the timeline. 15 on the shot clock. Ballinger with a little risky pass there to Christian Nobles III. Now Nobles will direct traffic. Nobles top of the arc. He'll work inside, and Nobles will be fouled.
Hey, good job to draw the foul. They got to keep doing that. They got to keep, but the key is they got to make those free throws once they do get fouled, and we've yet to see them really become productive on those free throws tonight.
Yeah, coming into the evening, USC Aiken 73% from the stripe as they went 19 of 26 from the line last Saturday against the Knights. But Nobles will step up, 6 of 8 on the season from the free throw line. First one squirrels in, 28-24. Nobles 5'9", just 5'9", 160, the senior, from a stone's throw away in Augusta, Georgia. And he'll get to see his old friends from Payne coming up here very shortly.
And he just made both of those free throws, the first time that's happened tonight for any of the Pacers, but it's a good thing. They need to keep doing that, and they got to keep it up.
Yeah, you keep talking about it, Mark. Building blocks. Hit your threes and also hit your free throws. Here's a three-point shot. Rims out. Offensive rebound fought for Laprice Lynch, but Lynch cannot get the offensive rebound put back to go. So here come the Pacers. 4:27 to play first half. 28-25. Bobcats on top of USC Aiken. Nobles has it. Nobles will slow things down. Top of the key. Nobles working here. Gets past. And that one almost went in. Nobles was looking at a three-point play, but he'll go back to the line for the second time in a matter of moments, and that was good work for Nobles, Mark, to get around a big body, Darius Malbon, 6'4", 185. Malbon was trying to do all he could to keep Christian Nobles from getting to the line, but Nobles, he's very crafty, and he's also really tiny, 5'9". He can get underneath those trees to the rack.
He made that play a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. I thought he was just going to get, brick walled right there in front of the net, and it just he fought through it somehow using his size, somehow a smaller size to his advantage, but it almost paid off.
It almost did, almost a three-point play, but now Nobles, he'll try to be happy with 2. First foul shot was good, and the second good as well. So that's 4 straight points at the free throw line, courtesy of Christian Nobles. Bobcats have it back. This one is deflected, and on Milinkovic, the one that came up with the final turnover. Milinkovic gets it to Christian Nobles, and then Nobles is fouled.
A good job by Milinkovic, not letting that error that happened a little bit earlier in this half stay with him. He comes in, makes a nice little takeaway, denies points for the Bobcats.
Nobles is right back at the strike. 4 straight points coming here for Nobles at the line. He'll try to make it 6 straight points, and USC Aiken down by just 1, 28-27. Nobles will try to tie it up, but that one misses. So just on the 1 foul shot attempt for Nobles, as we're in a bonus situation. So 3:51 to play regulation. It's still a 1-point lead for the Bobcats, 28-27. Trying to work around Nanam Milinkovic. Kick out, 3-point shot. That one rims out number 1, Chad Hicks. Pacers bring it back. 3.5 to play before intermission.
And Pacers with a golden opportunity here to completely erase that deficit and actually take the lead, being down only 1.
Yeah, down by just 1 after being down early, and there it is. Christian Nobles puts it in. That's 6 straight points for Nobles. 4 at the line, 2 on the little teardrop. 3:08 to play, foul called. In fact, that looked like a timeout. Looks like it was called by Lees-McRae. So the Bobcats will take time, and we will take it too. 28-29, Lees-McRae now trails the USC Aiken Pacers as the Pacers coming back in a big way first half. We will come back in a big way on Pacersports.com after this pause. Corey Hodges, Mark Johnson here with you tonight. Happy to have you aboard here inside the USC Aiken Convocation Center.
Not the biggest deficit I've seen them come back from, but actually not too bad.
Okay.
There was one game a couple of years ago where they were down by about 20 points, I think, and they came back and were at a 2-point lead or something at halftime.
Wow. We'll bring that up when we come back.
Yeah, it was only a couple of years ago, though.
I got you. Yeah.
Actually, yeah, that was the year they went to, I think it was the year they went to the Final Four.
Okay.
So it was one of those years where they were really, really good.
Yeah. Wow. 20 points. Whew. Back here on Pacersports.com, Corey Hodges, Mark Johnson here with you tonight. 3:07 left to play in the first half, 29-28, a 1-point advantage for the Pacers over the Bobcats. And Mark, you and I were talking over that break about a big comeback not too many years ago that the Pacers put on display. You were able to see that. So this is a team that can fall down, but they can get right back up.
Yeah, they have a history of doing that, and this comeback, they were down by it's been a few years, as I said, but they were down by about 20 points or so, and then just before the half expired, they managed to take a 2-point lead, and they won the game with a sound victory. And that was one of the years that this Pacers squad, I believe, were region champions, advancing to the Elite Eight.
Yeah, a team with a very good history indeed, and they'd love to keep that going this season. They're off to a perfect start, 1-0 on 2016-2017 as Vanderslice is back at the head coaching spot, but a lot of new faces for the Pacers. That one misses number 31, Avery Wallace. And so the Pacers will have it back, 2:27 to play first half. Scrum, Milinkovic is over there, part of it, along with Nobles, is falling to the floor. That looked like Wallace. It was. So it'll be a side out. Milinkovic, the inbounder, right in front of the Bobcats bench.
And Pacers playing scrappy now. It's nice to see that they're able to make the adjustments, as I'd said earlier.
Milinkovic for three, short, offensive rebound under the hoop, no foul call. That was number 2, Faison Brock, who was there to clean up the miss from Milinkovic.
And not only have they made the proper adjustments, but they're still winning the rebound battle. If not by as much, maybe, but they still have that advantage.
Yeah, that rebounding mark is way up there in the Peach Belt Conference after a great performance on the glass with 54 rebounds against St. Andrews University last Saturday.
And just a good solid number of rebounds for these guys.
Yeah, typically when you're in a game and you're getting 50-plus rebounds, not only are you making the other team miss, but you're cleaning up those misses and you're not letting the other team have second chance opportunities. Milinkovic will try again from 3. He got him. Nenad Milinkovic, give him all 3 from deep.
Yeah, good job to keep a clear head as you go for that 3-point shot, even with another player bearing right down on you.
32-28, offensive rebound, fought for, it's recovered, and Lees-McRae will have it back. Rashad Felton, 5'10", 190, redshirt junior from Hendersonville, North Carolina, had it at top of the arc. Double team, ball deflected, just able to save it was Chad Hicks, and now Hicks will kick to number 4, Dante Falls, traveling on Falls, and the Pacers will get it back.
That was a good eye by the officials to catch that travel. Almost missed it, but it was just barely a travel.
Just barely, but as you know, Mark, travel is a travel. And
this
the Pacers,
is true.
That's right, the Pacers will take it. Mark Matthews is going to come back in the ball game. 94 seconds left to play before halftime, and we're hoping we can get some stats for you during intermission. I know there was a report of an internet issue here inside the Convocation Center tonight. Three-point kick out. You got it. Raheem Freeman from Ocala, Florida. Freeman hits it. Sun shining. Raheem Freeman from the Sunshine State. 35-28, so that's back-to-back threes. Milinkovic hit one, Freeman hit one, and just like that, it's a 7-point edge as we're working towards intermission. Rashad Felton had it, lost it. Lynch gets it back. Disturbed, 4-on-1 break. Raheem Freeman lost it, got it back. Still a fight underneath, and the Bobcats will come up with it. What a sequence, and now suddenly it's 2-on-1. Dish underneath, another big block, but Lynch is there for the put-in. What a fervent sequence back and forth on the hardwood. It's 35-30, Pacers over the Bobcats with 40 seconds to play.
You can't fault Mark Matthews for that. He was able to stop one shot, but he couldn't stop two. He's only one man.
That was back and forth. If you like some exciting action, that was about 15, 20 seconds of some of the best, as the Pacers had a 4-on-1 break and then the Bobcats had a 2-on-1 break, but neither team was able to finish before finally you saw LaPrice Lynch clean it up and put it in. And that got it to a 5-point ball game, 35-30. USC Aiken on top of Lees-McRae with 29 seconds left before halftime. Three-point shot is short. Cleanup is good. LaPrice Lynch cleans up the three-point miss from Jordan Turner, 35-32. Now the shot clock is off.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I was noticing the Pacers weren't doing earlier in the game, was cleaning up those three-point shots. However, they do have the lead now, so maybe that's not going to affect them too much, but we'll see.
Buzzer sounds, and that was good defense. And missing on that hope and a prayer hurl was Paris Ballinger. So at halftime, a very speedy 45 minutes and change in the first half, 35-32. It's a three-point edge for USC Aiken over Lees-McRae. We will step aside, and if we have numbers and stats, we will try to get those to you. But before we take our halftime break, Mark, just looking at this from an overview perspective, Pacers getting down and falling into a little bit of a hole, fought back well. A lot of that was defense, and even more of that was three-pointers. So now that they've come back, they have a three-point lead at halftime. It's not like it's an even game, so it's not as if you're starting from scratch, but you would figure that any of that lackadaisical mentality for the Pacers is all gone. They know that they've got to fight hard if they want to top the Bobcats tonight.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, they made that big comeback, which was crucial, and they're going into halftime with a lead, which is something earlier in the half you didn't think that was going to happen. But, however, to the Bobcats' credit, they started coming back as well. They were facing a little bit of a deficit late in the half here. They got a few more points. They made it a three-point game. Pacers can't let that affect them. They got to come out strong at the start of the second half, and they got to try to keep the Bobcats from dictating the flow of the game.
Yeah, well said. Again, the Bobcats had a great start to this ball game, but the Pacers able to hold tough. They came back courtesy of good D and good three. 35-32. It's a three-point edge for the Pacers over the Bobcats. 13 and a half minutes for our intermission break, and we will come back and bring you the second half on PacerSports.com. See you for the third quarter. Back here inside the USA Convocation Center, the USC Aiken Convocation Center here on a Saturday night. Corey Hodges, Mark Johnson here with you. Hope you enjoyed the halftime break. Got a chance to collect your thoughts. We got a chance to not only collect our thoughts, but also our collective breaths as well. And right on time, we've got stats from the first half. So how about this for a halftime show? We'll break down a couple quick things as we are off and away here in the second half. It's a 35-32 USC Aiken Pacers lead over the Lees-McRae Bobcats. And Mark, you and I talked about it. Those three-point shots finally started going in. The defense stepped up for the Pacers, and as a result, they turned a deficit into a three-point intermission lead, and you've got a couple of those numbers for us.
Pacers just, they turned that whole thing around there. It was just, I'm still kind of a little shocked that they were able to do it, but I'm not complaining at all.
Jonathan Henry hitting the bucket a moment ago to make it 35-34, but USC Aiken being led by Christian Nobles in the first half with 10 points. Denon Milinkovic had 9.
Yeah, all 9 of his points came off of those three-pointers. He's 3 for 4 shooting for 3, which is, quite an accomplishment, especially earlier in the game.
Mark Matthews, speaking of threes, Mark Matthews just laced one, so you can up USC Aiken's downtown production. They are now, as we look at the numbers, 7 of 16 from downtown. Remember, they hit 8 last Saturday night, so they're one tray away from equaling what they did last Saturday against St. Andrews after the 3 a moment ago from Matthews.
And those three-pointers have been the difference in this game. They're pretty much even when it comes to shots. 12 for 28 coming into this half, 12 for 29 coming into this half. One-shot differential there. But the three-pointers coming into the half, 6 for 15, 7 for 16 now for the Pacers versus 3 for 11 for the Bobcats.
Pacers shot 41.5%, almost 41.5% in the first half, 40% from downtown, 45% from the stripe. Again, Nobles leading the team in scoring in the first half. Milinkovic had 9, 7 for Raheem Freeman, and 6 from Henry Bolton III. And speaking of Bolton III, Bolton just put one in, make it 40-34, 6-point edge for the Pacers over the Bobcats.
Yeah, he just got him with a hook shot there, just put it right over him. That was excellent.
Big block on the other end. Looks like that was not Chizu. It was number 11, Jalen Barnes, getting into the block party for the Pacers.
It's nice to see that Pacer defense came back out strong, doing everything they did in the later half of the first half.
They had not gone anywhere over the intermission break. The defense is back up right in the grill of the Bobcats, and as a result, it's a 40-34 Pacers lead over Lees-McRae. As for the Bobcats, they were led in the first half by LaPrice Lynch, who had 10 points. Cat shot 42.9%, call it 43% first half, 27.3% from downtown, and a little shy over 83% from the stripe.
Yeah, looking at this here as well, the rebounds have been actually pretty much even. I thought at first the Pacers were winning it, but it looks like the Bobcats have come back and have played a strong rebound game as well.
LaPrice Lynch missing on the shot. Putting it back in, however, was Keith Hurd the second. So you're talking about rebounds, Mark, and that time an offensive rebound for the Bobcats and a good Hurd the second put in. 40-36. This one almost lost, but Noble's able to corral it. Henry Bolton III, top of the arc, guarded well here by number 1, Chad Hicks. And now USC Aiken will kick it. Shot is up and in. Number 11, Jalen Barnes.
They actually looked better coming out in this second half than they did closing out the first half. And I have to say, kudos to Coach Vanderslice for keeping these guys' heads in the game.
More good defense underneath. That looked like it was a combination defensive move. It was number 11, Jalen Barnes, and 24, Robert Hill. Hill, 6'10", 235, freshman from Lilburn, Georgia, Berkmar High School. Bobcats ball, they've got to take a timeout. They couldn't get it in time. They were getting close to having an inbound violation. So Raheem Freeman will check in.
This will be his first action of the night.
And the Pacers will have it. Jalen Barnes with it. Barnes will kick it to Freeman. Freeman guarded well. He's trying to sneak inside. Got a whistle. LaPriest Lynch will pick up the foul. And now we'll see Raheem Freeman step up to the line for shots. 2 to be specific.
He comes into the game and right away he's going to try to make an impact with these free throws.
Freeman 0 of 2 in the first half. He's now 0 of 3 for the ball game, so Freeman will have one more foul shot to try to make that difference you spoke of, Mark. Freeman came into the game a 50% foul shooter, 1 of 2. That time he missed both, so an 0 of 2 trip at the line. Freeman's now 0 of 4 from the line in the ball game. Shot is no good. Good rebound underneath Robert Hill. Shot was missed from number 10, Jonathan Henry. Pacers are back with it, trying to go for the up and under. Looks like that was Freeman. It was. And Freeman got hacked again. So now Raheem Freeman has a chance to go back and make up for the 2 misses a couple moments ago.
It's not often you get a second chance or even a third chance in this case, but he's going to get it and he's going to hopefully take advantage of it.
So Freeman will step up. Went 0 of 2 a couple ticks ago, and he'll try to make up for it with 16:39 to play, regulation. That one's good for Freeman, his first foul make of the night. Coming in here will be number 11, Jordan Turner. 6'3", 185 from Hickory, North Carolina. 43-36 is the lead for the Pacers over the Bobcats. Trying to make it 44-36 is Freeman. That one is good. So a good 2-for-2 trip at the line for Freeman. He now has 2 foul makes on the night. 44-36, 8-point lead for the Pacers over the Bobcats, and Lees-McRae has it, 20 on the shot clock. Kick out, 3-point shot. Took a twirl and a peek, but rims out for number 11, Jordan Turner. Back quickly now come the Pacers. Mark Matthews had it, threw it away, and that one is stolen by number 15, Rashad Felton, now moving quickly. Felton has it back for 3, and that one was missed due to great closeout defense from Paris Ballinger, and now it looks like that the Bobcats are going to get it back.
Yeah, called on a travel there. Just trying to get the ball away from somebody else. I couldn't tell who that was exactly, but he tried to get the ball away, couldn't bounce the ball off the ground, and just couldn't get the dribble going.
Mess of bodies, and we missed it as well. But either way, too many steps, and so the Bobcats have another shot. Still trailing by 8 with 16 minutes to play in regulation. Back out. 3-point shot, that one also misses. Back-to-back missed threes for number 11, Jordan Turner. But Lees-McRae got it back. It was a bad 3-point miss, and sometimes you'll get offensive rebounds from those. That one rattles in for number 4, Dante Falls. 44-38, 6-point game. And now good defense behind the timeline on Paris Ballinger, courtesy of Rashad Felton. And we will have time, 15:30 to play in regulation for this media timeout. 44-38, 6-point edge for the Pacers over the Bobcats. We'll come back inside the USA Convocation Center after this break on Pacersports.com. Back here live in Aiken, South Carolina, Corey Hodges, Mark Johnson here with you on this Saturday night. Game number 2 of the 2016-2017 campaign for the USC Aiken Pacers. They're taking on the Lees-McRae Bobcats. They lead it 44-38, but now make it 46-38 on the big stuff from number 24, Robert Hill.
Hill just slamming it down home, trying to make a statement here tonight. That certainly is going to get it across, I think.
Robert Hill, what a way to get your first 2 points of the night on the two-hand jammer. Under 15 to play in regulation. Here's the shot. That one woefully short, lucky to graze some iron. And stepping out of bounds, it looked like it was Rashad Felton. It was. Pacers will get it back, and they're looking to feed off of that energy from the big Robert Hill slam out of the timeout. Couple subs will come in here for Lees-McRae, and we'll get set to get it back underway, but Mark Matthews taking it out of bounds. One thing that I noticed, Mark, on those warm-up shirts for the Bobcats tonight, the hashtag FIRE, F-I-R-E, and that stands for fearless, intense, relentless effort, and that's something that head coach Steve Harden has drilled into this team ever since he became head coach of the Bobcats back in 2010-2011. That one is off the window and in for Henry Bolton III. 48-38 lead for the Pacers over the Bobcats, but we saw some of that fearless intensity to start for the Bobcats, but now USC Aiken starting to dictate things their way as a shot was made a moment ago from number 22.
Yeah, as you were saying also earlier, this Bobcat team, even though they're winless, they've been in most of the games that they've been playing. They've been in it to the end. And, I mean, that just is going to add more fuel to the fire, I guess you could say, of the FIRE argument that they've got going.
Charles Dixon hit the shot a moment ago. That's number 22 for Lees-McRae. That cut it to an 8-point Pacers advantage, but now we've got shots coming up here on the other end as Mark Matthews was able to draw the foul.
And these free throws are really making a big difference. The Pacers are up by 8, and they have made 7 free throws out of 16. So 7 of their points of that lead that they have coming off of the free throws.
Yep, here's your student athlete of the week, Mark Matthews, but he misses the first free throw. Matthews, sophomore guard from Fort Myers, Florida, helping the Pacers to that season opener, home opening win against St. Andrews last Saturday night. 22 points, 9 of 14 from the floor, that's 64%. 2 of 4 from downtown, and got both of his foul shots. He'll get 1 foul shot here, and now he'll take a seat on the bench. 49-40. Pacers lead the Bobcats with 13:51 to play in regulation, and Lees-McRae under the leadership of Rashad Felton. Felton has it. Felton keeps trying to get something going top of the key, but it's disrupted. They'll bounce it now back to the top, here into the hands of Marcus Cassessa, and now back in the corner, 7 on the shot clock. Rashad Felton will hoist fire and got it for 3.
That's a beautiful three-point shot there, and they haven't had many of them, but they've been consistent on their three-pointers.
Yeah, Lees-McRae just their 4th three-point make of the night on 14-plus attempts. 49-43, that cut it to a 6-point edge for the Pacers on the Felton tree. Non-shooting foul, so Henry Bolton III will take it out. One sub will come in for the Bobcats. It's number 32, Darius Malbon. 6'4", 185, Malbon. Bolton with it. Bolton gets it inbounds. Harris Ballinger now has it. Pacers will move it around top of the arc. Now at the very top, here's Bolton III. Bolton III lost it. Lees-McRae came up with it. But good defense to get back quickly. Can they stop it? On the other end, they can. But a foul will be called as rushing to the hoop was number 14, Tyreek Royal. But getting the foul, Dante Falls.
I don't think the crowd necessarily agrees with that call, but that's a call on the court, so not much you can do about it if you're just a spectator.
Dante Falls will step up out of Shelby, North Carolina, 6'7", 225, redshirting in his junior year. First foul shot up and in is good for Falls. Dante Falls coming into tonight averaging 12 points and 7 of 11 from the free throw line. Again, a Bobcats team that lost last night at Queens University in Charlotte, North Carolina, south of uptown Charlotte. I've been by Queens a couple of times, and as beautiful of a facility as the one that the Pacers have right here in Aiken. There's some really good Division II basketball facilities, and of course we all know about the Roberto Hernandez Stadium right here in Aiken, one of the top baseball stadiums in Division II.
That's my home away from home.
Yeah, I bet you know that place well. Yeah. Paris Ballinger with it, 49-45, the lead for the Pacers over the Bobcats. Whistle with 12:27 to play in regulation. Felton's going to check out, and coming in will be number 10, Jonathan Henry. That sub for the Cats. Ballinger will take it out. Who's open? Can Ballinger find someone? It's all the way past the timeline, now getting over half court, Christian Nobles. Nobles still with it, 20 on the shot clock. Nobles will kick, now back to the corner. Ballinger with it. Barnes with the jump shot, no good. Out of bounds, will it stay Pacers ball? It will.
That was very, very good defense there by the Bobcats. They weren't playing that scrappy defense, but they were playing good coverage on everybody out there, and the Pacers just couldn't get an open shot.
It was a combo of Marcus Cassessa and Keegan Crabtree who were trying to go after it. One of those Cats touched it. As a result, Pacers still got it and a fresh clock. Ballinger again has to toss it all the way over to Christian Nobles, and this time he went back like a wide receiver to grab it. Now he's past the timeline, under 12 to play. 4-point lead, just a 4-point lead for the Pacers. Underneath, got it, and the foul. Hoop and harm, Christian Nobles.
That's a great way to fight through defenders to get that point, get those points, not only to draw the foul, but to make it a 3-point play.
Finally a 3-point play, some hoop and harmon for the Pacers. Haven't had much of that tonight, but what a way to go into the timeout as Christian Nobles hits it, and he's got a foul shot coming. 51-45. We'll step aside, come back on Pacersports.com as things are getting interesting and fun. We'll come back. Following the hoop and harm opportunity, Christian Nobles trying to finish up this 3-point play as we rejoin you here on Pacersports.com. Corey Hodges, Mark Johnson alongside tonight here inside the USC Aiken Convocation Center on a Saturday. Second game of the 2016-2017 campaign for the Pacers. They lead at 51-45. The 6-point advantage for the Pacers over the Bobcats as they're looking to remain perfect on the season and mark a game that got started off in a not so good way for the Pacers, but they have really rebounded since. We've got a convo going on between the men in black and white before we get this cleared up and Nobles can take his foul shot. But Pacers fighting back very well, got up to a 9-10 point lead, but it's still in that territory where we are far from over yet.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you know, hats off to Lees-McRae to keep this game close, even when the Pacers looked like they were going to run away with it. And then hats off to the Pacers to bring the game to a closer point in the first half. I mean, this has definitely been an exciting game to watch. I mean, and it's far from over. That's all I can say.
Yeah, so far from over that it's 11 minutes and 50 seconds from over. 52-45, 7-point edge for the Pacers over the Bobcats. Nobles with it. Nobles could not convert on the three-point play a moment ago as he missed the free throw. Kick out, three-point shot. Jalen Barnes. Barnes for three. Give him all three from deep. 55-45, that gets it up to a 10-point advantage. That three ball working magic again for the Pacers. The equalizer and also the extender of the lead. That one rimming out. The three-point miss from number 3, Marcus Casessa.
Well, going back to that three-point shot by the Pacers, I mean, if you can't make that three-point play off the foul, may as well take a three-point shot to get even with yourself, I guess.
Exactly. That was the 8th three-pointer of the night as Jalen Barnes finally got off the schneid. He was 0 of 2 on the night before that one. He's now one make on the evening from deep, but that equals the number of threes the Pacers got 1 week ago tonight. Squeaking in and getting that one to go, Christian Nobles, 57-45. Suddenly, Pacers trying to run away with it. They're up 57-45, a 12-point edge.
Well, they know this Bobcat team is going to play them tough, and they've been playing them tough all game long. So the Pacers, they cannot let up at all, and it's good to see that they have not done that.
Three ball from Jalen Barnes, and then Christian Nobles able to get the layup. It's 5 straight points for the Pacers. They lead by 12. 10:46 to play in regulation tonight. We'll come back on PacersSports.com. Happy to have you with us for another USC Aiken Pacers men's basketball adventure. Welcome back here on PacersSports.com. Corey Hodges, Mark Johnson here with you tonight inside the USC Aiken Convocation Center. 57-45, 12-point edge for the Pacers over the Bobcats. And after 5 straight points, Pacers looking to open this one up.
Yeah, Pacers definitely going to do that. As we said before the break, Bobcats are a tough team, and they're going to keep playing you tough. So you cannot let up at all.
Fought hard at the very beginning of this game. Heaving up an air ball was number 3, Marcus Casessa, even though Casessa still had 4 seconds on the clock, missing on a big 3 that would have been but was not, was Jalen Barnes. Coming back, Casessa thought about a 3, a couple jab steps. Now Casessa will get it back to number 1, Chad Hicks. Hicks trying to measure up and size up Mark Matthews. Whistle and a stoppage. 10:05 remaining in regulation. Christian Nobles had a good game so far. Last time we checked, Nobles with 12, so he's on pace to possibly lead the Pacers in points after Mark Matthews was right there with him last Saturday in terms of the big 2-man punch for USC Aiken on the hardwood. Bobcats have it with 25 on the shot clock and 10 minutes flat left in this one in regulation play. Still a 12-point edge for the Pacers. Then on Milinkovic finally comes down with a steal. Milinkovic still has it. And now they'll toss it back here to Henry Bolton III. And now to Paris Ballinger. Foul on the floor before Ballinger can get anything up, but a steal for Milinkovic, and that's not the first time tonight, Mark, that Milinkovic has been right there in the middle of a ball, and he's grabbed it and gotten a steal.
Yeah, he's had a couple of those tonight, a couple of really good ones, and some of them were some really good opportunities that just fell short. But, he's keeping the pressure going, and that's all you can really ask for him right now at this point. Pacers still have the lead, so.
Everything's good. Paris Ballinger rattles in the first free throw as he was fouled underneath. Milinkovic, that was his third steal this evening to go along with the 3 from Christian Nobles, and all in all now, that's 8 steals for the Pacers.
And it's really been helpful because there have been a couple of points where they've stolen the ball at a key opportunity for the Bobcats, where the Bobcats were close to either retaking the lead or tying it back up.
Ballinger hits on the second, 59-45. The advantage for the Pacers has ballooned to 15 with 9:35 to play in regulation. This one is stolen by Paris Ballinger. Ballinger trying to beat his man, got stripped. Now back Milinkovic. He hit it, but it's going the other way. Milinkovic, a wry smile on that one. He thought I was getting ready to cash in on 3 points, Milinkovic was probably thinking, but unfortunately that one going the other way.
He thought he got away with the travel there, but he just took an extra half of a step, and that was all the officials needed to call him on that travel.
And if they didn't know after that, when Milinkovic smiled, you really knew it, because you know Nanad knew it as well. Mark Matthews with the steal. Matthews trying to go all the way. It's going to be it's a charge. Yes, Mark Matthews will pick up the charge.
Don't hear much argument coming from the Pacer bench there, so
yeah,
they've got to agree with it.
Yeah, Matthews was bounding toward the rim and got hit with the charge, so Bobcats will get it back. 9:11 to play, 14-point edge for the Pacers. I watched some of that senior spotlight with Christian Nobles a couple days ago when it was posted. Maddie Campanella sitting down with Nobles, all of those great senior spotlights. She did one with Alexis Ware, and those are always fun to watch, especially coming into a game. You get to kind of hear those players. You don't often get to talk to them before the game, but Christian Nobles is very happy coming into his senior year, knowing what he has to do to lead this team to a lot of victories and a lot of good play. 2016, 2017, he was very confident and looking just as confident tonight.
Yeah, those senior spotlights are very enjoyable to watch, especially when you actually know the player in person, and then you're just sitting there and you're picking them apart as they're messing up on the show.
Hoop and harm in a big way. Paris Ballinger, Nanad Milinkovic had it, then gave a beautiful extra pass to Ballinger, and that's a second hoop and harm, emphatic hoop and harm we have seen from the Pacers tonight, Mark, and what a beautiful move. Ballinger got it, now he's trying to convert on the three-point play.
And that one, it made it seem like a second was an hour there as it just rocked on the rim.
It's like one of those hanging fly balls out there, right? Yeah.
I've seen a lot of those in my time, both play and coverage.
That's it. 62-45, the lead for the Pacers over the Bobcats with 8.5 to play in regulation. Corey Hodges, Mark Johnson here with you tonight on Pacersports.com, and we've got more fun coming next Wednesday. Get to fill up on some basketball before you fill up on turkey one day before Thanksgiving. We'll get you more on that later on in the broadcast, but Pacers still got work to do, still got things to clean up here tonight on a Saturday. They have a 17-point lead, 62-45.
Yeah, Pacers managing to increase that lead a little bit, but the Bobcats are still playing them tough, and they're going to do everything in their power to come back. And I've seen it happen before. A big deficit like this gets erased if you get some good three-pointers.
Talking about a possible comeback, that's one way to do it. Disturb the inbounds and get a shot to go down. That time it was number 25, LaPrice Lynch. So Lynch continues to do pretty much everything for the Bobcats. He and Dante Falls right up there in the scoring column for the Cats tonight. 62-47, the lead for the Pacers over the Cats. 7:47 left to play. Bounce pass inside. Mark Matthews has to corral it, gets it back, but a turnover. Trying to get it to Kevin Chizu, but the Bobcats come up with it.
That ball was just destined to be in the Bobcats' possession. 2 fumbled passes like that. Not going to recover after that.
Keith Hurd, the second, underneath the hoop. And we'll have a media timeout with 7.5 to play on this Saturday night. 62-47, the lead for the Pacers over the Bobcats. We'll come back on PacerSports.com as USC Aiken's looking for a 2-0 start to the season. USC Aiken men's basketball on PacerSports.com, being brought to you in part by Tyler's Tire and Auto Center, by Aiken Flooring. Aiken Flooring, you can stand on us. By Quality Inn and Suites, and by Denny Michaelis, your local Aiken, South Carolina State Farm agent. Corey Hodges, Mark Johnson back here with you tonight in Aiken, South Carolina for the Pacers and the Lees-McRae Bobcats. 62-47 is the lead. Trying to make it more was Christian Nobles, who tried to get a three, but that one was no good, so the Bobcats will get it back with 7:06 to play.
And Pacers have been doing much better with those three-pointers, 8 for 19 on the night. So and that's been a huge part of their lead, as they've been able to sink those threes.
Wedged over there into the corner are the Bobcats, trying to work this offense out of the corner. Here's the three-point shot, comes up short. And now a breakaway, Christian Nobles. He's got an eye on his man, 123 trying to beat the other, as that was a Christian Nobles, Zach Wilmoth race to the hoop.
Yeah, I think it was a battle of size there. Just a little too, I don't want to say too short on it, but right. the height differential didn't help.
Exactly, I'm 5'9", so I'm right there with Christian Nobles. Nobles 5'9", and Wilmoth is 6'4". 6:45 to play, and Nobles is at the strike. First foul shot too strong. Nobles not too happy with himself after that one. He'll try for a split, but yeah, you talked about it, Mark, with those threes. That's 8 threes on the night in just 19 attempts, although you can add another one now after Nobles missed that three a couple moments ago. So still 8 of 20. They took 28 threes last Saturday, did the USC Aiken Pacers. So they're hitting the same number of threes in less attempts. That's got to be a good thing.
Oh, that is a good thing. And it's also a good thing because considering at the beginning of the game, they were trying for those threes and they weren't making it. Had they made a few more of those threes, that percentage would probably be well over 50.
Yeah, great point. So Robert Hill will pick up the foul. So now stepping up to the line will be number 25, LaPrice Lynch. Lynch, so far in this ball game, 4 for 4 from the stripe. He'll try to remain perfect. Lynch will miss on the foul. So now 4 for 5 on the evening from the stripe. Lynch going for the split. He got it. 63-48. Pacers on top. Now the full court pressure starting to pop up for the Bobcats as they need to start making some turnovers over these last 6 minutes, 23 seconds if they want to claw back into this one. Shot is up and in. Henry Bolton knocks down the tray, 66-48.
Yeah, that's his third of the night on a three-pointer. He's 3 for 4 for 3. That's a good stat no matter how you look at it.
Yeah, LaPrice Lynch missing on the shot a moment ago. Here come the Pacers. Nobles thought about it, wisely gave it up. Robert Hill has it underneath the hoop, squirm here, and a squirm/scrum as Robert Hill was battling hard underneath with number 4, Dante Falls.
Yeah, Bobcats are starting to play scrappy once again, and it worked for them in the first half, so
right.
They're figuring, hey, let's just keep this up. Maybe we can make a comeback.
That was a big 3 a moment ago, though, for Henry Bolton III. That got it up to an 18-point game, 66-48. Mark Matthews tried to go all the way. He'll clean it up and put it in, make it a 20-point lead for the Pacers over the Bobcats. 68-48. They are pulling away in the second half.
That was a great job there to have the presence of mind to stay with that play, even though you're getting swarmed by defenders.
Trying to answer on a 3, missed it. Now Felton will get it back, and that one is straight swish for Felton, 68-51. That's the second 3 tonight he's made from almost that exact same position.
They're going to see a lot more of those in tonight's game by the Bobcats. They've got to make those threes in order to make the comeback.
Up and under move, beautiful stuff, number 11, Jalen Barnes.
He's certainly having a nice debut tonight. That's his 10th point on the night, too. He's having some production.
Pacers had 79 points in an exhibition loss, 91 in a regular season win last Saturday. They have 70 tonight, so they have scored 70 or more points in all 3 games that they have played so far this season, 2 of which have counted. How far can they go tonight? Can they get to 80 plus, which would be a great offensive start to the season? Of course, a win doesn't much matter how many points you score as long as you win, but you know that head coach Mark Vanderslice would love to see these Pacers pile on another 10, 15 points, which will put this offense in pretty good shape before Payne next Wednesday.
They got a good chance of doing it. Still 4.5 left in this game, and 70 points, it's definitely doable.
Very doable. 70-51 is the advantage for the Pacers. Foul shot up and in, Mark Matthews get it back to a 20-point game, 71-51. Looks like a full man switch out here, maybe, yes. That's a quartet of subs. It's almost a brand new unit in there now for the Bobcats.
Well, you have to wonder if that has any, if their previous games have anything to do with that, having played several games already in a row. They definitely want to try to keep fresh legs out there, and you kind of wonder if that's the reason why the Pacers are doing so well. They have those fresh legs.
Well, one thing that you can see, Mark, when you look at the stats, 10 players have so far seen action tonight for the Pacers, and that number is up to close to 15 for the Bobcats as Lees-McRae is putting everyone out there that they can. In fact, I only see maybe one player who's still in the full warm-up gear. Looks like everyone else either has the shooting shirt on or they have just put it back on or they've got just a regular jersey.
Yeah, looking at my sheet right here, I only see 4 names that have not played at least 1 minute in this game.
There you go. So head coach Steve Harden for Lees-McRae putting everyone out there tonight, and that most likely has a lot to do with the very busy early schedule as the Bobcats, this is their 3rd game in 5 nights. And although it's a short trip from here to Charlotte, about 2 hours and change, I can account for that personally, but it's a short trip, not the longest travel in the world regardless. Playing last night and then coming into this one and having it be an earlier tip time as well. Just about every tip off at Queens is around 7 p.m. If I'm not mistaken, that's most likely what it was last night. So it's not really even a full 24 hours between game times, since most of these tips in the early portion of the season here for the Pacers, they start at 6.
Hey, that's definitely got to play some part in this game tonight. You know, sometimes you think, you have a week break. Sure, you're going to be well rested, but your mindset may not be in it. But this Pacer team has showed that they can get right back into that game mindset real quick.
Marcus Anderson missing on the foul shot. 72-51, the lead for the Pacers. Opening up there for Christian Nobles, but that one was blocked. And that's a turnover that the Bobcats come up with. 3:47 to play in regulation. 21-point lead for the Pacers. Getting inside, trying to get some help off the glass, but that one was no good for number 22, Charles Dixon. Out of the Windy City, Chicago, Illinois. Media timeout, the last of the evening. 3:38 to play, 72-51. USC Aiken, these Pacers looking to be well on their way to a perfect 2-0 start on the 2016-2017 season. We'll come back on Pacersports.com after this break. Back here on Pacersports.com, Corey Hodges, Mark Johnson here with you tonight on a Saturday evening. 21-point edge for the Pacers over the Lees-McRae Bobcats with 3:38 to go before the finish line. And we just got a new fresh sheet of stats, Mark, and the one big thing that's popping out to me, second half, look at this, 37-19, the Pacers outscoring Lees-McRae all over the Bobcats since coming out of halftime.
It's just been absolutely incredible. They came into the end of the first half playing strong, and then right out of the gate of the second half, they just kept it going and not even improving on what they had already been doing.
Exactly. They finished really strong in the first half where they fell into a hole at the beginning but came back to win the first half, if you will, if you like to call victories in halves. They did 35-32 at intermission. Here at the line is number 3 for Lees-McRae. That's Marcus Cassessa. He misses on the foul shot with 3:29 to play in regulation, but coming out in a big way, really strong in the second half. The three-pointers have still been there. The good defense has still been there, and as a result, the Pacers outscoring Lees-McRae by almost 20 here in the second.
And in the first half, Pacers only had a 40% success rate in the for three-pointers. Second half, they've had a 57.1% success rate. And again, early on in that first half, they were missing those three-pointers. Had they not missed all those, it could be a completely different game.
Yeah, we could be looking at possibly a 30-plus point lead for USC Aiken if some more of those threes had gone in. But the Pacers will certainly take it. So far, 10 of 22 from downtown. Of course, Mark and I will have all the final stats on the USC Aiken men's basketball postgame show coming up once we hear the final buzzer on this Saturday night. 3:08 left to play. 72-52, 20-point edge in hand for the Pacers. This one is scooped up, almost lost, but getting it back was Jordan Turner. Now into the hands of number 3, Cassessa, and Cassessa will hoist and fire from deep. That one no good. Robert Hill with the rebound. 2:50 to play, and the Pacers will try to get it into their own zone, but that one was well defended. A double team issued over there on Christian Nobles.
And bodies flying all over the place there. That physical aspect of this game showing itself once again.
And it's been physical from the start. But it's never really gotten to the point where it's been chippy. We haven't really seen an instance yet where someone's maybe been a little bit angered. I think the only time that we've seen that tonight was when Steve Harden was out there complaining a little bit on the behalf of his team for a foul. Maybe that wasn't or some type of issue in which the Bobcats could not get it inbounded, but other than that, it's been physical, but it's been a fair kind of physical.
Yeah, it's been a very clean game, a hard game, but
yeah,
a clean game.
Christian Nobles at the line. That's a split, so 73-52. Nobles will take a seat on the bench. Raheem Freeman is out there along with Paris Ballinger. Faison Brock, Jalen Barnes, and Robert Hill. 21-point lead for the Pacers. Getting fouled, a hard foul on number 11, Jordan Turner. Hill will pick it up. So Jordan Turner will step up for shots. Try to get this back to a 20-point, 19-point game possibly. First one is good.
His very first point of the night. He was 0 for 4 in overall shots tonight. He's been trying more for field goals. He's 0 for 3 though on those, at 3-point shots.
Better late than never for Jordan Turner as he gets into the score sheet. Now he'll try to pick up his second point of the night. That one is good. 73-54, 19-point edge for USC Aiken. 2.5 to play. Mark Matthews helping the Pacers to work it up the floor. Raheem Freeman with it now. They had to zigzag through a maze of Bobcat defense as that full court pressure is there in earnest. Mark Matthews cleans it up, puts it in. 75-54, back to a 21-point cushion.
And Matthews using his height to his advantage there. He's one of the tallest players out on this court, and he just showed you why that's so valuable.
Robert Hill all over number 31, Avery Wallace, and Hill was there to deny Wallace. So Jalen Barnes will pick up a foul. So now up will be Wallace. They'll credit the foul, if you want to call a foul, as being credited to Barnes. Wallace up at the line. And the first one a little strong and rolls off, so it stays 21 points.
Yeah, early on in the game, this Bobcat team was very successful on free throws. They didn't have a lot of them, but they were successful. Now they're starting to miss a couple of them. They're still making them consistently, but they're not as consistent as they were.
And that's one thing, possibly leaving 4, 5, 6 points out there. It may not make much of a difference on a night like this in which the home team has a 20-point edge, but you talk about some of these closer games down the line, Mark, that's 6 points that you could have gotten at the line that you didn't.
Yeah, and yesterday was 2 days ago was an example of that in the women's game.
Right.
The free throws were the difference, and not necessarily in this one, but had they made a few free throws earlier in the game, it could have been a closer game. Maybe the Pacers wouldn't have jumped out to as big of a lead.
So the clock is stopped with 1:52 to play. Christian Nobles is at the line for shots. Mark Matthews is going to check out, and coming in is number 2, Faison Brock. Nobles is back up looking for a second straight foul make. He gets it, 77-55. Bobcats will bring it past the timeline with 1:45 to play before we end it here tonight. Raheem Freeman's picking up the foul, and now at the line is number 22, Charles Dixon.
And it's Freeman's very first foul of the night. Several of the Pacers have had several fouls already tonight, so it's interesting to see somebody that didn't have a foul coming into this this series of plays.
Mark Matthews got a brief little rest, and now he's right back out there on the floor. Coming out is Faison Brock. So a quick sub out for head coach Mark Vanderslice, whose team is on the precipice of going 2-0 to start the season. Missing on the second foul shot was Charles Dixon. 22-point edge for the Pacers. 93 seconds left. Dish to Robert Hill. He gets a stuff, but whistle before the dunk for Hill, so it will not count.
Hey, Hill trying to get another dunk like he had earlier in the game, which really fired up this Pacer team. But I'm sure they'll take 2 free throws here. That's not too much to complain about.
Jalen Barnes won't be complaining. He'll step up and try to get 2 from the line. First is good, 78-55. So now the Pacers are 1 point away from equaling their second most total points scored this season. That was 79 in that exhibition loss. And they've got it. Second time this season the Pacers have scored 79 points. They scored 91 last Saturday. Can they score 80 plus for the second straight game? Shot from the corner, rolls around and falls in. Number 5, Keegan Crabtree. That one looked as if it may bound out, but it took a friendly roll in unfriendly territory, as we like to say. Raheem Freeman guarded well, and now Freeman will get it to Jalen Barnes. Raheem Freeman, this one skids off the rim. Offensive rebound is grabbed by Faison Brock. And it's going the Bobcats' way with 54.6 seconds remaining.
Yeah, another call on the traveling there. That's one thing I would say the Pacers need to try to cut down on is getting caught on those traveling. But in a game like this, it doesn't hurt you too much, especially with less than a minute left in the game.
Always something to work on for any team, whether they're winning or losing, and certainly that's something Mark Vanderslice will want to work on. A couple of things to improve before Wednesday night against Payne, our next scheduled broadcast. 29 seconds remaining. Pacers ball with 14 on the shot clock. Shot up, took a peek, out, fighting for it, Robert Hill. The bench was ready to explode because Kyle Tackberry just checked in. Tackberry, the freshman, 6'2", 177 from Charlotte, North Carolina, out of the Darlington School, and we finally got to see Tackberry tonight, and Tackberry almost hit it from deep, and that bench was ready to show Tackberry some love.
He made a sweet little move there to try to get that three-point shot. It's a shame it didn't go in because that would have been a highlight reel play if I'd ever seen one.
Yeah, would have been quite the play for Tackberry as well, but alas, he was not able to check in and get some points, but still everything's looking pretty good here for the Pacers. 79-58, they lead it, which is 13.9 seconds left before we close it down here tonight. The post-game show will follow with stats and a look ahead to the matchup against Payne on Wednesday night. That one also is good, so 79-60. Foul shots up and in from number 31, Avery Wallace. 8 seconds left to play, and Jalen Barnes will go ahead and try to dribble this one out. We go final, 79-60. The Pacers 2-0 on this still very young season. They started slow but roared back in a big way in the first half, got a lead at halftime, and then exploded in the second half to win this one. 79-60 is our final tonight inside the USC Aiken Convocation Center. And as we roll into the USC Aiken men's basketball post-game show, Corey Hodges here with you tonight alongside Mark Johnson. And Mark will get the stats here in a couple of moments. But I know that one thing that we talked about throughout the broadcast tonight, the importance of three-point shots and also the importance of defense. It started to kind of come around slowly for the Pacers, but eventually the three started falling, and then the defense started to pop up, and before you know it, the Pacers were up by 20, and that was a big key to victory tonight.
Yeah, they were slow, definitely slow started, but it's really a tale of two halves. The first half, Pacers were 40% on pretty much everything, from free throws, three-pointers, and everything. And but the second half, they really came around. They were sinking everything they needed to sink. I mean, and they just walked away with the lead. They went into the halftime close, and then they just took off from there.
They really did. Yeah, started rolling in the second half, and we should have some final stats, some final numbers for you here in a matter of moments as we roll on with the USC Aiken men's basketball postgame show. But one thing tonight that we were looking for as well, not only the three-point shot and, of course, that good defense, but also some more continued good production from Mark Matthews and Christian Nobles, and we saw that tonight. I guess already we know through 2 games this season that most of the production is going to come from those guys when they can team up and do some good work. More often than not, USC Aiken is going to be on the winning path, which they were tonight with a 19-point win to go to 2-0 on this season before Payne comes in on Wednesday.
Yeah, they're going to need these kinds of wins on the season, especially after the way they've played the past couple of years. Real below-average team. I hate saying it, but they really were. And if they can really turn that around, it's going to be great for this organization, great for this school. And this is the big sport right here at this university.
Well, we've got our record on the season, 2-0 on the season. Again, this 79-60 win tonight And we'll try to get you some quick stats here before we go off. I see the stat sheet is right next to Brent Hager, and I know that we'll try to get those numbers for you here in a moment. I'm going to get Mark to squeak over and grab it for us real quick, and we'll go ahead and get you those numbers from the final here tonight. Here we go. We got it. Brent Hager over there working busy as usual, but we'll steal his stat sheet for a couple quick moments before we bid you adieu tonight. But the Pacers go to 2-0 on the season with a 19-point victory, 10 of 24 from downtown, 19 of 31 from the line. They out-rebound Lees-McRae 38-35, and they out-dish them 12-7. 17 turnovers for Lees-McRae, just 13 for USC Aiken as they outscore the Bobcats to the Pacers 44-28 in the second half to roll by 19 points, being led in scoring by Christian Nobles with 18, 5 of 11 from the floor. Three other Pacers in double figures. Henry Bolton III had 13, Jalen Barnes had 12, Mark Matthews had 10. As for Lees-McRae, were led in scoring, the 13 from LaPrice Lynch and then the 10 from Dante Falls. USC Aiken, they shoot 41% in the first half, 56% in the second half, 48% from the ball game, 41.7% from downtown, and 61.3% from the free throw line. Lees-McRae, 34.5% for the game, 25% from deep, 63.6% from the line. So one more time tonight, the final, 79-60 as USC Aiken tops Lees-McRae. They're now 2-0 on the season. Lees-McRae is 0-4, and we've got the pre-Thanksgiving game coming up on Wednesday as these USC Aiken Pacers will host Payne. So that one is coming up on Wednesday night from here inside the USC Aiken Convocation Center. Of course, we'll have the coverage for you here starting at 6 o'clock against Payne on the 23rd. Coming up on Wednesday, we'll have the coverage for you here on PacerSports.com. So a great start to the 2016-2017 season, and the Pacers will try to keep this stuff going against Payne on Wednesday night, the 23rd of November. We hope to have you with us for some pre-Thanksgiving fun. So for Mark Johnson, pleasure to have you aboard tonight, my friend. I'm Corey Hodges, and we hope to have you back aboard with us on Wednesday night for the 6 p.m. tip, Pacers and Payne on Wednesday night. So a couple days from now, we hope to have you back here with us on PacerSports.com and YouTube. So good night from Aiken, South Carolina, where the Pacers win 79-60. See you on Wednesday, everyone. Oh, man, I couldn't get off the mute. Jeez. Oh, I'm using good at that. That was bad.
I know. It's hate when you just
finish.
I do that on baseball all the time. Okay, I feel like I made this a little too short, and then you just start rambling on.
I know.
Like, oh, no, what have I done to myself?
Oh, no, I'm boxing a corner.
I did fine.
Yeah. It was fun, though. Yeah.
I enjoy doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Yeah, I'm glad to know that whenever Chip isn't here, we can have you in. It's fun.
They got me, and you got another guy, Jordan, who's he did a fantastic. If you listen to
a little bit of it.
If you listen to the women's game the other night, he did a great job with the color commentary. Bailed me out a bunch of times.
Wow, okay.
Because I'm not, like I said, I don't really know all the terminology in basketball. I know enough to get by.
That's right.
But But yeah, he just came through. I'd sit there like we have a stoppage of play, and I'd look at him, and he'd be like, "Oh yeah, there's a foul on so and so."
Yeah.
I'm just like, "Thank you for saving my life."
Yeah, exactly. That was good.
All right.
I'll run back there. Are you going to the?
I know Brent probably wants me up. Try not to break anything.
I'm gonna run back there and try to get the prester, but this is fun. I enjoyed it.
Yep, definitely enjoyable. You know what you're doing, but more than me.
Well, no, a couple years ago, I was
You were in my boat?
I was in your boat, so like I said, don't, yeah.
Well, I'm better with baseball. That's the sport. I played it, I've watched it,
Yeah.
I've grown up with it.
Yeah, I feel like we'd have fun with some baseball. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But this was fun though. Hope to work with you again. We had a good time.
I hope to come back, 'cause,
Yeah.
you know, he's